In the third round of FIDE Candidates 2024, we had a very exciting game between Praggnanandhaa and Vidit Gujrathi. The game started off with the Rule Opus, and Pragg plays the main line, and now Pragg plays the gambit with f5. Vidit strikes in the center with d4, and now after take c5, b5, bishop goes back, knight a5, knight takes back, and after bishop b7, here Vidit chose a human move, a move that is not played before. It's not even in the top three lines of the engine. Knight takes pawn. The main move for the engine is castling. This is the known theory. And here, black can win a piece with c5, knight takes c4, but that is now good for white. You can immediately force a draw with takes, queen h5, repetition. But white can go for more by just playing queen g4 or rook e1, giving up the piece, but with great compensation for the piece. This is a winning position for white. So if castles c5 and knight f5 happened, if castles happened, Pragg would not go for the c5 move winning a piece. He would probably go for takes, and we would continue with the main line, known theory. But in the game, Vidit chose knight takes f5, knight takes pawn, not allowing Pragg to go into main line theory. Here, Pragg chose knight takes, pawn takes, and d6. Queen e2, queen d7, pawn e6, attacking the queen. If pawn takes pawn happens, it looks like we won a pawn for free. The king will just move though. And this position is completely equal because rook e8 is the counterplay black is going for. And he has got an active bishop g2 is hanging. Knight is also hanging. So you'll have to go knight e3, and now black will just go to take the pawn. So this was an option, but here Vidit chose e6, queen goes to c6, attacking g2, and now bishop g5, stopping black from castling, and also sort of threatening to play e7. Pawn g6 played, attacking the knight. Knight goes back, defending g2, getting ready to castle. So the opening has gone in a complicated fashion, and both of them have should be happy with their position. More so Pragg, because he has got active pieces, and if he challenges this bishop, he should be able to castle long or develop pieces normally. Here h6, bishop goes back, and now knight e7, c4, b4, queen g4, queen c5, and now castles. Pragg plays bishop g7, developing his last piece, fianchettoing both his bishops. And here he has a choice between castling short and long. Short is a much safer option because rook will also get a file and king will be a bit safer. Pragg believed his king will be safer on the other side. This gives Vidit a small chance, a small window here to play a good move. There is a threat made by black. The reason for castling long is now black is threatening g5, bishop goes back, h5, and when the queen moves away, h4 traps the bishop. So there is a threat in the position, which is why Vidit plays h4. But he had an option here to go knight d5. This is a threat, so black will take e7 and will give a check. Rook will block because rook was attacked, and now just pawn takes knight back. And this position is now much better for Vidit. Queen takes pawn, knight will come to c4. And now there is a threat of bishop takes pawn. If pawn takes back, knight b6 is a fork, which means probably black will have to move the king, but then the rook will hang it. So this becomes a very nice position for white, but Vidit missed that chance here. He had only 22 minutes. Both of them had to navigate the opening complications, so they've ended up with very low time. More so Vidit. So he had only 22 minutes and he spent 2 minutes to play h4, stopping the idea of g5 and h5, trapping the bishop. And now rook e8, rook d1, takes on b2, knight d5. So here it is not that great because it's just a pawn sacrifice. He gives back the pawn. Now e7 check, king goes back. So if you look at this position, black has got the bishop pair. King is a bit safer, I would say. There's no threats on this king yet. All the files are closed. White's knight is not yet active. The bishop is also not doing much. This pawn is weak. Only the queen is doing its job. So now bishop e3 attacking the queen, queen b5. And now knight c4, bishop c3. It was attacked. Bishop d4, rook g8. And now takes, and queen d4. Vidit goes for the c3 pawn and the bishop is hanging. So bishop goes back, queen takes c3. And Pragg takes on e7. So at the end of all these moves, Pragg has ended up with one extra pawn. And he has got a nice bishop. And this rook is going to be active. This rook is already active. So after missing those chances in the middle game and the opening, Vidit did not have any chances afterwards. Pragg just had a very good position with an extra pawn. Knight a5, he challenges the strong bishop. Rook e5. And here Vidit had to play knight takes bishop. Queen will come to b7 with more pressure, but it's at least better than having the bishop there. But he goes for b4, defending the knight. Now the game is gone. Pragg just takes over with g5. All his pieces become active. Everything is looking at his king, and there's no attack on the black king yet. And it's going to be very slow. h5 chosen by Vidit not to open the file. Here, if you play knight takes b7, queen takes back, and the same threats will again be here. So h5, g4. The g pawn is running fast. Rook e1. Vidit is scrambling with time pressure. And here, Pragg went for g3. He goes for the kill. Knight takes b7, a big mistake because now pawn takes f2, king takes, and queen takes b7 with threat on g2. So Vidit had to go queen f3. Now Pragg has so many options. He can even go for something like rook. He can go for rook takes h5 here. I mean, not yet. Yeah, he can go for rook takes h5 here. Basically sacrificing a full rook, but the attack on the king would be sufficient. Queen takes pawn, king e3, rook g3, king d4, queen comes back. If king goes to either side, there'll be problems. If king goes here, queen takes b4. And if king goes to d5, there is rook g5. This is completely winning, but still needs work. Like you'll have to play with the queen against two rook, but with three extra pawns. So Pragg chose a more safe option. He goes for rook g5, allowing the exchange, but then he'll also be attacking h5 and g2. So after takes, Vidit chose to save the h pawn, allowing rook takes pawn, and now rook e6. And here Pragg again has two safe options: rook takes pawn and rook h4. Point is after rook takes rook g5, he wins the h pawn. So which of these two options give least counterplay to white? Rook h4. Because now rook takes pawn, rook g5. Rook goes back, rook takes h5. And now rook comes to d7, king c8, not allowing any rook takes d6 ideas. Rook goes back, rook e5. Pragg has to just deal with the rook. And now after rook f5, Vidit resigned because one rook is going to come off and then it's going to be an easy win with a passed pawn for black. So it was a opening struggle between two Indians today. I mean, yesterday in the candidates. The opening struggle went in the way of black because after knight takes f5, takes, d6, Pragg played really well and he was better prepared and he got a very nice position. There was temporary play for white, but that was not enough. So after round three, the standings are thus. This was the only win of round three. All the other games were drawn. Pragg was the only one who won. And he comes back to 50%. He's on 1.5 out of three rounds. You can see three players on 2 points still: Gugesh, Nepo, and Fabi. And then Vidit and Pragg on 1.5, and then the others on 1 point. Hikaru, one of the favorites, it's struggling at 1 point. In the women's candidates, a similar thing happened. Pragg's sister Vaishali won against Nurgul Salimova. And Vaishali had lost yesterday just like her brother. And she also comes back to 50% with 1.5 points. Tan Yongyi is 2.5 points leading the candidates women. Second place is Alexandra on 2. And then we have three players on 1.5, three players on 1. So after today's round, there will be a rest day, and then subsequently after three more rounds, another rest day. So the candidates is off to a very nice start. Things are going to become interesting pretty soon.